it's Jessii Vee. So I'm just gonna warn you right now before you continue watching this video. It's gonna be a little bit TMI, and it's probably going to be a little bit embarrassing for me and for you. And I know that sounds so confusing, like,
Jessii, I'm sitting at my own house. How could you possibly think I'm embarrassed right now?
it's because today I'm gonna be talking about embarrassing things that we all do and just don't admit. So today's video is probably gonna be the most relatable one I've ever done in my entire YouTube career. So definitely hold on to your seats because you are not gonna believe what I'm about to tell you. You're probably gonna be like,
Jessii, are you psychic? How do you know that about me? How did you know that I did that?
it's because we all do it and we just don't admit it. Also, you guys know how much I like Stranger Things. I have so much of their merch. Like probably 80% of my closet is just Stranger Things stuff. I literally have a t-shirt of 11 eating an Eggo waffle. That's literally how far I go with their merch. I also got this like 3 sizes too big, so it's like a blanket. The comfiest feeling. Anyways though, can we just make this like the shortest intro ever and just get right into it? Okay, so you probably saw the title of this video and thought, Jessii, what's behind your door and why is it so embarrassing? So before I get into all of the things that everyone does that's embarrassing, I am going to show you one of the things that I do, and I cannot believe I'm showing this on this channel. So guys, please don't judge me, please. Please don't judge me. I think in everyone's house they have a room that's just filled with clutter and it's just completely disorganized. Whether that's an entire room in your house or whether that's a cupboard or a closet in your room. And in my case today, it's a closet in my room. I feel like every other aspect in my life is very organized when it comes to like plans, work, just daily things that I have to do. I'm really organized. But ever since I was a kid, when it comes to my room, I'm a little bit less organized. You could probably define me as being a bit of a messy person when it comes to my bedroom. I think what happens is I know that it's a private space that no one really goes into, so I don't put as much effort into cleaning it as I probably should. And when I say clean, I mean like organizing. Like my room is like clean, it's not dirty. I mean like there's just stuff everywhere. It's just cluttered. But specifically my closet. So I'm about to show you a before and after. And I don't know why I'm showing you this because wow, it's embarrassing. But let's just start, you know, putting the clip up here so I can show you guys what I mean. So this is the closet in my bedroom and I never leave it open because I don't want anyone to ever see it. But this was what it looked like about a week ago. It's very cluttered, very disturbing. If my mom ever sees this video and what my closet was looking like, she'd probably come to my house and just like,
Ooh, Jessii, what were you thinking?
My mom is like the cleanest person you'll ever know. So this is definitely one of my worst habits out there on the internet for everyone to see. But because I was making this video, I actually had the enthusiasm to clean it fully, so now it's spotless and beautiful, and I can show you that clip right now to give you guys the motivation to just go and clean the most cluttered spaces in your house. Get it done. You'll feel so much better. Literally whenever I have a clean space, my mind is just clear. I feel so much better. It's amazing. But yeah, now that I've admitted that, let's move on to what you guys do. So I found a million lists on the internet and pretty much every single point that they had online I did, so I was like, there's no way you guys don't do this as well. I would say on this entire list, you watching, you right now, hello, I see you right there, you probably do about 97% of these things. Let's start with number 1, and these aren't in any particular order, they're just like generally all horrible things that we do. Number 1, waving at somebody who wasn't actually waving at you. Could this be the most embarrassing thing on the entire list? I don't know. I used to do this all of the time, and now I've learned to just not wave when someone's waving, and if they're waving at me, then just too bad for them. I just don't want to risk it anymore, you know what I mean? When I was in school and there's just so many crowds and someone was waving, I always used to assume it was at me. I don't know why, but I'd be like, hey, and they'd be like,
no, not you. I wasn't waving at you.
and I'd be like, oh no, I wasn't waving, I was like swatting the flies. Next one, Googling yourself. You don't have to be famous to do this. Literally, I think everyone does. Even when I was a kid, I would Google myself to see how much the internet knew about me. And I mean, not much used to show up for me. I think I had like some art shows, maybe some like races that I did, soccer games that I got a medal for, like just random things that I was doing in my life. But you know, I feel like every person can find at least a few things on Google about themselves. Now I try not to Google myself because there are a lot of haters out there. People are not very nice to Jessii Vee sometimes, so. Next one, and I really relate to this one. It's pretending you're a Jedi when walking through an automatic door. If you guys have not seen Star Wars, you probably have no idea what I'm talking about and probably have never done this. But if you're a Star Wars fan, whenever I go through an automatic door, I always like, use the force and pretend that I'm opening it with the force like I'm magic, you know what I mean? My dad does this too, it like runs in the family. Getting caught checking yourself out in a window reflection. I've done this one before, and I think for this one as well, I've learned just to not look at myself in reflections anymore, because you know when you're going by a restaurant and like you see this like really reflective glass and you're like,
Oh, hey, look at myself.
but then like you look through the glass, like you look beyond and you're like, oh, there's a man sitting there eating a sandwich staring at me. Or like if you're walking by like a car window and you can see yourself and you're like,
Oh, look at me.
and then like the guy rolls down their window and you're like, oh hi, I'm actually gonna go now. Having your own private mini concerts in the car. Yeah, I feel like all of the drivers out there, if you have your license and you drive, you can really relate to this one. Usually when I'm on my way home, like when I used to go to work and when I used to go to school, traffic was the best time to just like blast the music and like jam. Even though everyone stares at you, it's like, who cares? I'm a rock star. And you guys have to admit you do this one. Pretending you're in a music video when you're sitting in the back seat just looking out the window. Especially when it's raining. I did this all the time as a kid. Like you're like,
Oh, my life is so horrible. Let me just like look out the window of my car and pretend that everything's terrible.
you're listening to music or there's something on the radio and you're just like jamming and you're like, yeah, I'm being filmed right now. Come on, I know all of you guys did that one. Taking something out of your hamper to wear. Okay, I actually don't do this normally, but it's so weird this one came out because I did this one like 2 days ago. Super embarrassing, but I was on my way to the gym and I had no more like baggy t-shirts to put over my like sports bra. Because the gym that I go to, you're not allowed to like show like your, I think it's called the midriff, because people will like sweat all over the machines. So I had a shirt in my hamper that would work to just throw over my sports bra, and I took it out, I sniffed it, and I was like, you know what, it's not too bad, and I put it on. Don't deny, you've done that. Talking to your pet like it's a real person. Okay, this one's not even like a maybe. Everyone's done that one. Running water in the bathroom for extra privacy. Okay, if I have to go like number 2 in a bathroom that's like right around a room with tons of people, I literally like to run the water and then go number 2, because I'm like, they have got to hear this. Like, how do you not hear the little plops? You know what I mean? Like, if they're right outside the door, they've got to hear that stuff. So yeah, I've either ran the shower or the sink, just for extra privacy. Gossiping about someone and then realizing they're totally in earshot. So I don't really gossip that much or judge people or anything, but there have been times where I've brought someone up sort of casually in conversation and they're like right there and then I feel so embarrassed. But I've never been like a huge gossiper. Can you believe that? Wearing headphones with no music just because you don't want anyone talking to you. I have done that before. Back when I used to commute to school and I was on the subway or on the bus, I would always just have my headphones in because I'm like, hey, now nobody will approach me. You leap onto your bed to avoid the monster underneath it. I don't do this anymore, but when I was younger, and actually up until like a decent age, like maybe until I was like 15, whenever I was walking into my bedroom, I would just like jump. So like I would miss the bottom of the bed where like the underneath part is, because there could be monsters under there. So I would like leap, and once I was on my bed, I felt so safe. Pretending not to see someone in public you don't like. Okay, this hits home so hard. If you guys follow me on Twitter, you know what happened to me the other day. Listen guys, if you don't follow me on social media, you have no idea what's going on, because I tell those places first, whether it's Instagram story or just like ranting on Twitter. Those are the 2 places that I put like my stories first before I tell them on here. So follow me on those 2 things if you want to be like in the loop. You know, in the loop here. But remember that story time I told you guys probably 2 years ago about that ex-boyfriend I had who cheated on me while I was having lung surgery. So he cheated on me while I was in the hospital. He was not a great guy. All of you guys wanted to like go find him and beat him up, but never do that obviously. But you guys were so mad at him for doing that to me, and like that was years ago, so I'm like totally over it by now. I mean, yeah, he's a bad guy and I never want to actually see him ever again, but of course the other day I actually saw him again. So I just joined a gym and I started going there for about a week now, and every single day, guess who's there? The guy who cheated on me in the hospital. So whenever I go there, I literally don't make eye contact. I pretend I don't even see him. I'm like doing my own thing, and like honestly, his loss. I have the best fiance in the world, and like Ty goes to the gym with me, so like he can see how great my fiance is. That's fine. I'm not like hurt by that situation anymore. It's just like an irritation. Like I'm irritated that he's in the same room as me. Do you know what I mean? Anyways, that's how good my luck is. accidentally liking a crush's photo on Instagram. I have done this a couple times for sure. It's mostly when I'm like creeping them, and obviously not like recently because I've been dating Ty for 2 years, but like back in high school or like back in college or whatever, whenever I was creeping a person that I liked, sometimes I would accidentally like their photo and it would be like way deep in their timeline and I'd be like, no, they definitely know I was creeping them now. Yelling at fictional characters on TV. This one everyone definitely does when there's like really intense suspenseful scenes and you're just so frustrated at the characters and you're just like,
Run! Why don't you run from him? What are you doing? Why are you just standing there?
I get really emotional sometimes. Okay, this is like probably the top on the list, picking your nose. Anyone who says they don't do it is just lying to themselves and everybody else and their own body and their own nose, okay? It doesn't mean that you're doing it all day and you have your nose like stuffed up there, but if you feel like a little bit of an uncomfortable place, you're probably like, oh, it's probably like a really sharp booger up there or a booger that's stuck, and like you help yourself get it out, you know what I mean? Whether that's like with the Kleenex nearby or whatever, you put your fingers up your nostril holes every once in a while. Don't even deny. If you're denying, just leave this video right now. Just leave this video right now. Turning down the volume on your headphones to eavesdrop on conversations. I have done this before, I think mostly like on the subway or on the bus to school or whatever, maybe in a cafeteria. You're like listening to music and you hear like people arguing over there and you're like, wait, what are they arguing about? And you like turn down the volume to like hear. Eavesdropping sucks, but I will admit I've done it. Wearing the same outfit 2 days in a row when you know you won't see the same people. Yeah, I mean, I do that all the time. Like maybe not the same full outfit, but I'll wear the same shirt 2 days in a row or the same pants 2 days in a row. Like it really depends on what I was doing. If I was like super sweating all day, then I probably wouldn't. But like if I'm just chilling at home, then it's fine wearing it 2 days in a row. Who cares? Oh, this one's kind of similar. Grabbing something off the floor and if it passes the sniff test, you wear it. Yeah, I did that 2 days ago, as I said. Nodding after you've told someone you can't hear them and they tried 3 times to tell you what they're telling you. Like, do you ever like have someone like talk to you and you're like,
What?
and they tell you again and you're like,
What?
and they tell you again and you still can't hear, but you're too embarrassed to tell them you didn't hear them a 3rd time, so you're just like,
Oh yeah.
but you have no idea what they said. Or not understanding lip reading. When someone like mouths to you something from across the room, I literally cannot read lips. I cannot for the life of me. If someone's like, I'll be like, I literally, first of all, I can barely see. I have really bad eyesight. Second of all, I will never understand. I will never understand it. Getting in an elevator and pressing the closed door button before anyone can get in. Oh, I'm so guilty of this and I feel so bad. Listen, I love polite people and I wish that I could be one every single day, but in elevators, I really don't like being in elevators with people. It's so awkward, like everyone's quiet and they're just standing there and you can just hear each other breathing. So whenever I get in an elevator and I don't see anybody nearby, I'll like quickly press the close button and hope no one walks over. Like, come on, you guys must do that as well. Getting satisfaction from squeezing blackheads or big zits. So, okay, I'm kind of like a half and half on this. If I'm like popping my own pimples, I love it. Okay, that sounds a little bit weird. I don't love it, but like I like knowing that I got everything out of my pimples, you know what I mean? I'm okay doing it on myself, but I do not understand the people who can pop other people's pimples. Ooh, you're just like squeezing the pus and disgustingness out of it. I just can't, because like if it's my own disgustingness, I could like deal, but if it's someone else's, it's all over your fingers. Ugh, I just can't. Like, I appreciate those people. Like, I know Ty can do it. I know Ty's mom could do it. I know like so many people who do that for other people, and they're a huge help. Like, good on them. We need those people, but I will never understand them. For all the women out there pulling hair from your butt crack after a shower. It doesn't happen to me often, but I mean long hair problems, or just hair problems in general. It just falls down your back and just gets in your butt. Farting yourself awake? Okay, I've never done this in my entire life, so this is the one I don't relate to, but Ty, my wonderful fiance, farts all the time in his sleep. And he wakes up every once in a while, depending on how intense it is. Cupping your hand against your torso in the shower and letting the cup fill up with water and then letting it splash on the floor. Okay, I've done this a million times before. You know when you're just showering and you catch the water in your hands and you just like, and like it just splats on the floor? Like you've done that. I feel like a child when I do it, but I love it. Running up the stairs on all fours like an animal. I have done this many times before, but like Ty still does it and it freaks me out because he has really long legs and really long arms. So when he goes up the stairs, he looks like a wolf running at me or something. Verbally assaulting inanimate objects. I think we all do this. Like sometimes I'll forget I put toast in the toaster and I'll go do something else and I'll hear it pop and it'll make me jump and I'll be like,
Hey, why'd you do that?
and I'll like yell at it, even though the toaster has no feelings, no emotions, it can't understand me. If you don't want to wash your hands, you run the water just in case someone is listening. First of all, every time I use the actual toilet, I wash my hands every single time, there's no question. But like, when I was younger, my mom was like, hey, wash your hands before dinner. I'd be like,
Okay, I'll pretend that I am.
and I'll like walk into the washroom and turn on the sink for like 2 seconds and then like walk out like I'm airing out my hands like... Have you guys done that too? Peeing in the shower. This is another one. If you don't admit you've done it before, just leave. Just leave right now. I'm just kidding. Don't leave. I love you no matter what. Like if you don't pee in the shower, like good on you. Like you have some restraint. I don't pee every time, but like I have before. Like you guys, come on. I know this video is TMI and you're probably learning way too much about me, but like everyone's done it before. It's convenient. It washes down right away. You wash your body after. Everything's good. Everything's clean and good. Looking in the toilet after you go to the bathroom. Okay. Every time. It's like a curiosity thing. It's like, I know a lot of people who will like go to the washroom and just like flush as they get up without looking, but like what if like you pooped blue or something and you'll never know and you'll never go to the doctor because you just never know you're pooping blue. Right? And I heard, I think it was Dr. Oz or like doctors say it's really good for you to like look at what you left behind and make sure you're healthy. Like make sure everything looks normal. Oh man, this video. Pretending to text or talk on the phone when you're waiting for somebody. I probably do this every other day. It's mostly when I'm in like public and I have nothing to do or I'm like waiting on somebody or I don't want to interact with people. I'll like pretend that I'm already occupied. Like a lot of the time when I walk to my mailbox, I pretend I'm like on the phone because like there's so many people around and I'm just like, I just want to get to the mailbox and get back home. I don't want to talk. Checking under the bed or behind the shower curtain to make sure nobody is there. Okay, I don't check under my bed, but when I was younger, I'd check like my closet, I would check behind the shower curtain, like I would do all of the checks there was. Pacing the house when you're on a long phone call. I do this all the time. I can rarely sit down and just talk. I have to be moving around. And I think I follow my mom with that because when I was a kid, I remember she'd have these long gossipy phone calls with her friends and she would like do the length of the entire house, like the whole bottom floor, top floor. Like she would pace. She was a pacer and I think I kind of took after her with that. Watching cartoons after a scary movie. I do this almost every time as well. I love my horror movies, that they're the best things ever, but I never want to sleep right away after watching one because I know I'll have nightmares and stuff. So I put on like, I don't know, My Little Pony. No, I don't watch My Little Pony, but like I put on something that's happy and like a cartoon or a kid's show or something. Saying horses whenever you drive past horses. I always feel like a 2-year-old when I do this, but I literally, it just comes out of my mouth without even like realizing it. Like I'll be on the highway and Ty's driving and I'll be like, oh, horses! And he'll be like, Jess, those are cows, but close. I have really bad eyesight. Having a drawer in your house with tons of plastic bags, it's like bag inception. Yeah, I think we all have like a cabinet or like a drawer in our houses that have like 500 plastic bags, all just stuffed inside each other. I don't know why we need all those bags. Like no one needs all of those bags. Like we never use them. Like we maybe use a plastic bag like once a month. Like why do we have 3,000? I don't know. Repeating an order over and over in your head at a restaurant before the waiter asks you. I think people with social anxiety can totally relate to this one because like not even just restaurants but anywhere where you have to like recite something that you need, I like replay it in my head to make sure I say it the right way and to make sure I'm ready. Like before the waiter comes I'm like,
Okay, so I wanted the fettuccine alfredo, I wanted a side salad.
and I'll say it in my head over and over until she comes over and then I'll just recite it. Is that weird? Using a bathing suit as underwear because you haven't done your laundry. Okay, I've done this maybe 2 times in my whole life, but like I relate. I have done it before. It's just those weeks where you just like have your laundry piled up and you haven't done it yet and then you're just at your last underwear and you're like, hey, gotta move on to the swimwear. Anyways, guys, those are all the ones I want to read, but how relatable are they? I mean, I would feel so bad if all of you guys were like, I haven't done one of those things. And I'm just sitting here like, oh. That's fine, that's fine. No, comment down below what you relate to the most or things that you have not done on this list because there's probably not many you haven't, but maybe just a couple. But yeah, anyways guys, I hope you enjoyed this video and never be ashamed of, you know, doing strange things. Get it? Anyways, I love you guys so much and I will see you in my next video. Bye!